look into various HDFS file system commands. At the same time, we'll also have a look into how to run our first MapReduce program, which is there as a part of your Hadoop installation package. So now let us start with that. So to start with, let us switch into Hadoop user. So sudo su hyphen Hadoop, enter the password, and you're inside the Hadoop. Now you cannot run the HDFS command directly. First of all, we have to run all the daemons, and we have to ensure that all the daemons of Hadoop is up and running. So to do that, so type in and here if you can type ls, you can find out that there's a script shorturl.at. This will start all the daemons of Hadoop. So wait for 10 seconds, and then after that all the daemons will be started. So name nodes got started at localhost, started followed with the data nodes, and then followed with the secondary name nodes, and all the other daemons are going to get started as well. So we'll wait for that to happen. So there you go, all the daemons are up and running. So let us check once. So you can see that resource manager is up, JPS is up, name node, secondary name node, node manager, data node, and all the daemons of basic Hadoop are components of Hadoop has been started. Now we can work with the HDFS file system commands. Okay, so let me come back to the home directory. So in the previous session, I've taught you people that Hadoop and HDFS commands will be residing in bin directory inside the Hadoop home. So similarly, all the other scripts will be residing in the startup script, stopping scripts, and everything is available in sbin directory. So we don't have to worry about bin or sbin directory. If you want to start the daemons, you have to navigate to sbin and you have to run the scripts. Whereas HDFS and Hadoop commands are going to work directly, since we have already set the Hadoop path variable. So let's start exploring what are the various commands that are available in the Hadoop. So in order to use this, so we'll start with the first command, which is going to show the list of all the commands that are available in here in the Hadoop. So HDFS DFS hyphen help. If you type this command, it is going to show all the existing command inside the Hadoop. So let's see what are the commands available for our use case. So have a look. So there are many commands that are available for some of the commands you might be knowing. It's kind of similar to your Linux commands, but we got to use it with respect to HDFS, so a little bit of modification we have to try and go to see. All right, so some of the commands are append to file. This we are going to see how we can use this particular command inside HDFS. Cat command, chmod, change ownership, copy from local, copy to local, cp, count, df, du, find, get. Can find out all the commands and its equivalent syntax associated with that using this particular command, that is um, HDFS DFS help. So let us start exploring some of the commands and see how we can use that in the um, Hadoop. So the first and foremost command that I'm going to teach is to check the health of the file system. So in order to do that, type in the command HDFS fschk. So fschk, so it stands for file system check. So you provide the path for it. So it takes one argument, which is the path in which Hadoop is installed, that is the root directory. So let's see what is the status of this. So in order for you to work properly with the Hadoop, the output should be appear like this. The file system under path is healthy. So all the properties that you have set in the configuration files you can find out. So number of data nodes are equal to 1, number of racks equal to 1, and you can see some of the files have been already created, what is the total amount of bytes that is available in this root directory, and all this stuff. And moreover, the replication factor also, it is also specified in here, so you can have a look. So this is the first command, that is fsck, which stands for file system check. Okay, now what are the other commands that we have inside Hadoop? So the next command that I'm going to teach is with respect to listing. So you know that ls command in Linux is going to list all the files in the particular directory. So there's a alternated version of that, or alternative version of ls command. So let's see. Let us say that I want to explore what is there in the home directory. That is the tilde character. You can use that. So type in HDFS, DFS. All the commands, Linux commands or equivalent Linux commands, can be accessed, or it's not that way. So HDFS mandates you to follow this syntax. So HDFS DFS -ls, so specify the path in which you want to list all the files. So it's going to show all the contents in the file. So I do have two folders over there, that is input folder and F1 folder. Okay, so if I really want to check what is there inside this particular directory, you can do so by just adding that path. Okay, so there you go. You can see the content in here. Now, one thing you have to understand in this case is that the file system that Ubuntu follows is XFS or NFS, we call it as. So a network file system, and as far as the Hadoop file system is concerned, it is HDFS. So whatever the contents that is there in this home directory might not be visible for you in your regular terminal or in your Unix operating system. Okay, so this is the next command, that is -ls, that is for listing of files. So suppose if I want to create one directory inside the home directory, you can do so. So one thing I want to tell you at this point is, if I want to explore these folder structure in the web portal that comes with the Hadoop, you can go and open the browser, and you can go to the port number, say localhost 9000 or 9870. You can access that content. So after this, I'm going to show you how to work with it. So for this session, I'm going to show it with respect to terminal itself. All right, so the next command that I'm going to show you is how to create a directory in the home directory or anywhere else in the Hadoop. So the command structure is kind of same, HDFS DFS. The command to create command to use to create a directory inside Hadoop or in the Linux operating system basically is mkdir. So we have an alternative version for that. So mkdir, HDFS DFS mkdir. So you got to specify which folder you want to create. We are going to use a prefix called as p, which checks whether the folder is available or not. If it is not available, then it's going to create it for you. So if the folder is already there, then it is going to leave it like that only. All right, so HDFS DFS mkdir -p, I'm going to create a test folder in here. So let's see. Okay, now let me put ls on the home directory and see whether the folder got created or not. So you can see that now the folder is available for our use case, that is test folder. Right, now moving on further, so how to remove a directory? There are multiple ways to do it. So the one is rmdir, which is going to work fine assuming that that particular directory is empty. So if not, you can just recursively delete the contents starting with the files first and then delete the directory. So that is one command that I'm going to show. If you want to remove any of the folders available in here, you can do that with the help of the command HDFS DFS -rm, for which stands for remove. So -r, recursively remove all the files first and then remove the directory. So let us type in the command. Let us navigate. Okay, so there you go. This is the folder that I want to delete, first starting with the files first and then the directory itself. So let's see whether it's going to go through it or not. So now we can see that the particular folder has been deleted. That is what it has been shown in here. All right, so again let us list it. and see whether the folder is there or not. Okay, so there you go. You have the folder got deleted. All right, now let us try to do it one more time, so thereby we can delete the two other folders as well. So just going to do a -rm -r. So I'm just going to write f1 folder. So there you go, the folder got deleted, and similarly I'm going to remove the input folder as well. So obviously in the input folder we have a file over there, so let me show it for you people. So input, so there you go, there is one particular file that I created inside this. So when we do this rm-r with the folder name, first it is going to delete this particular file, that is first.txt, then it will delete the directory. That's what it is. Okay, so now if you do ls, there is no folder like that, so obviously it has to throw me an error. And if we come back to the home directory, you can see that nothing is there in this particular directory as of now. All right, so that is what creating and removing a directory is all about. Now what I'm going to teach you next, or which command that we are going to explore next, is how to create file inside HDFS. So there is no VI editor installed, or the VI editor itself is not going to work directly in the HDFS. All right, so for that cause there are two ways to deal with it. So I'm going to walk you through with that. So the first method is by using a command called as touchz. So let us create an empty file. It's equivalent to the touch command, which is going to create an empty file in the Linux operating system or Unix operating system. So HDFS DFS, the command is touchz, HDFS DFS touchz. So specify the file name. So say, let us say sample.txt. So this is the file that I want to create. So let's see whether it's going to work. Now let me put ls. You can find the content, the file that I wanted to create in here, that is sample.txt, but the size of this particular file will be 0. So this is one way of creating an empty file. So there is another command that we can use to add content to it, that is append to file. We are going to have a look into it in a few moments. All right, now this is how you can create a simple file, or an empty file inside the HDFS, that is HDFS DFS -touchz. Right, so the next command that I'm going to show you is the du command, which is equivalent for data unit, or it will show you the size of the files in simple words. All right, now let us see how to use this. HDFS DFS du data unit, it's a size -yes for size, du yes -yes, and you can specify the file name which you want to check the count or check the size of. So HDFS DFS -du, so you can see that what are the number of bytes that are available in this particular file. This is another command, that is du command, so to check the size of the file. All right, so moving on, next we are going to look into how to add content into this particular file that we created. So we know that how to create an empty file. Now we are going to have a look into how to add content into a particular file via terminal itself. So let's do that. So let me clear this HDFS DFS. So the command is append to file. Append to file, give a space hyphen, you got to specify which file you want to append. So the file is sample.txt. So when you do this way, what it is going to show you is it's going to allow us to add the content from the terminal itself. Suppose if I want to add a simple line like this, maybe had a little lamp, so you can do so. And if you want to add another content to it, say fire in the mountain, can do the things. You can add the content from the terminal itself. So how to get out of this? So you have to press Ctrl D twice to get out of this particular way. Now the file, the empty file that we created using touchz command, now it has two lines added to it. So first of all, let us check the size of it, just like we did earlier, -du -size. Now you can see that there's a change in the content as well, that is 58 bytes has been added to it. Now if you want to see the content of a file, then you can do that using command HDFS DFS -cat and do sample.txt. So if you do this, obviously it's going to show you that what is the content that is present in that particular file. Let's have a look. So whatever the content that we added, that content is appearing in here, right? So this is append to file and du command as well. Now what I'm going to teach next is how to move the files from one file system to another file system. So the file system that we have is NFS, NFS to HDFS, HDFS to NFS. So how we can do that, right? So this is the second way of creating a file inside the HDFS. So for that course, for the demonstration purpose, I'm going to create a file called this is host file. So I'm just going to add a random content into it. This is a host file from NFS. Okay. So now let us say that I want to move this particular file from your NFS to HDFS. How can we do that? So the command for this is copy from local. So let us see how we can use that. HDFS DFS hyphen copy from local. So you have to specify which file you want to copy, and you have to specify to which directory you want to copy. So the first argument it takes is the actual file which is residing in the local file system and the directory where you want to store it in the HDFS. So let's see what happens. Okay, so there you go, the file got moved into that. So let us see what is there inside this. So I'm going to put ls command into the home directory to see whether the file is there or not. Now we can see the content of this host.txt. Now use the hdfs dfs command, using that is cat command. We can list out what's the content of that particular file. So this is another way of creating or taking the file inside the HDFS file system. Now there you go, the content has been echoed, so this command works fine. Okay, so alternative to this, there is another the previous version of Hadoop uses this copy from local. Now the recent version of Hadoop uses then an alternative command called as put for the same course. So let's see. So for this case, I'm going to create another file. So readme.md file. I'm just going to add content to it. This is a readme file. Okay, now let me save this, and let us try to move this particular file from the host the NFS to the HDFS. So the command is same, HDFS DFS. Instead of copy from local, you can use hyphen put. So which file you want to copy, readme.md, and into the home directory. So you can put that way. Okay, so now let us see what is there, whether the file is there inside that particular directory. Yeah, the file got in. So we have readme.md available for our use case. So let us find out what is the content. Let us check the content as well. So get and readme.md. Okay, there you go. The file has been the content of the file has been getted out. Now moving on further, this demonstrated how we can move the content from or move the file from NFS to HDFS. So what if I want to move that particular file from HDFS to DFS? Sorry, HDFS to NFS. So let's try that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this particular file into my the file that I just moved. It's readme.md. It's there in the home directory. Let us try to move that particular folder inside some other directory, or say let us say that I want to take it into the local file system, that is NFS. So the command is hdfs dfs. The older version of Hadoop says that use this command, that is if you want to move the content from the local to DFS, it is copy from local. Now if you want to do the reverse process of it, you have to do copy to local. So the command is copy to local. So this is camel casing, so same thing. So which file you want to copy? So from the home directory I want to copy to readme, copy the readme.md, and I want to store it in the home directory. So this home directory belongs to the Hadoop machine, so we can not the user that I'm looking in. So okay, so let's try it. So already the particular file is there, so obviously it's not going to work fine. So I'm going to create one directory for this course. I'm going to create one directory in here. So sample So ls, you can see the file in here. So the two files had been created here. So let me just move that. Now the same command I'm going to execute with the folder name. So let's see. Now we can do an ls and you can find out. So type in ls, you can see that file has been copied from the DFS to the NFS. So alternative to that, the recent version of that file or the command is put. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy instead of copy to local, you can use get command. So get whichever the file that you want to copy. So it was host.txt, you can copy that into the local file system as well. So let's see. Now see, the file got copied. So this is another way. This is another way of getting the files from the DFS to the local file system. So moving on further, um, is it possible for us to move the file within the file system itself? Yes, it is possible. So let us see how we can do that. Now what I'm going to do is HDFS DFS. I'm just going to list all the files in the home directory. Now we have three files in here. We don't have a folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file, a folder. So in the home directory, this is a test folder, right? So we'll use the mkdir command for this. Now the folder got created. Let us say that I want to move this particular files, which starts with the txt in this particular directory to the test folder that I just created. So I can move that. That is in the home directory. I'm going to copy host.txt to the input folder or to the test folder that I created. So now let us do an ls on this particular test folder and see what we have in here. So there you go, the file got copied. So mv command is going to help us smooth the contents inside the HDFS file system itself. Alright, so that is what move command is. So these are some of the commands that we can use these are some of the commands that you can execute inside the Hadoop file system. So the rest of the commands you can have a look, you can try it on your own. So again, I'm just going to type it one more time. So type in HDFS DFS help. It is going to show you all the commands along with the arguments that you need to pass. So have a look into that and learn as much as possible. Alright, so this is with respect to the HDFS commands. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to run your first MapReduce program. The program that we are going to try is the Wordcount program, which is already residing in the Hadoop samples, some of the examples given by the Hadoop Apache Hadoop itself. So how to run that particular file? So let's start with that. So as far as this particular running procedure is concerned, I'm going to demonstrate in here. So have a look. So here, if you can see in here, whatever the MapReduce program that you're going to write, this has to be written in, or this has to be taken in as a jar. So you cannot directly run the Java programs inside the Hadoop directly. So instead of it, you have to write the MapReduce code and you have to export this particular thing into a jar. Now this jar can be run with the help of a command, that is Hadoop jar name and class path. So this class path is nothing but the main class or the class which contains the main program. So you can specify the class path name, and along with that it takes two arguments, that is input folder and an output folder. So we have learned how to create folders inside the HDFS. So we have to create an input folder. Output folder is an optional one, so we can create it, or else your Hadoop itself is going to create that folder for you. Alright, so the command is Hadoop jar name, and you have to specify the class path and the input folder and the output folder. Right, so As far as this particular case is concerned, already this jar has been created and it is available for our use case. So I'm going to demonstrate how to use that, how to run your first simple program. The program, as I quoted earlier, it's a word count program. So this is going to take one input file which consists of some random text, and it's going to count the frequency of words that are available in here, which are separated by a space. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So in order to make it work, we have to uh, create two file folders, as I specified earlier. So you have to create one input folder. Inside that we have to put the input file in the folder, and then from the folder your Hadoop is going to read the input. Okay, so let us see how we can do that. So for this course, I'm going to do HDFS DFS. I'm going to create a directory. So I'm going to call it as my input. So this is the input directory that I'm going to create, and inside this directory what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an empty file using the touch command. So I'm going to call it as input.txt. So this is going to create an empty file inside that input folder. So then I'm going to use append to file command to add content to it. So put an hyphen there and you're good to go. So let me write it. So I'm going to press Ctrl D twice to come out of this. So obviously the file got appended with the content that I just put forth. So the file input is ready. Now what we need to do is we need to locate this jar that we want to run. So we can find these sample examples in the folder. So in the Hadoop home directory, you can go to Hadoop home and type in ls. Here we have a folder called as share. So go to share and type in ls Hadoop. Navigate to Hadoop folder and type in ls. Here go to MapReduce. So and you can find this particular jar file in here. So this is the jar file, this is the compiled jar file that we have. So using this jar we can run this particular program. All right, now how to do this? So let's come back, let us look into the path in here. So share Hadoop MapReduce, you can directly run from here, or else you can copy this particular path and come back to the home directory, and then we can run the command now. So Hadoop jar, what is the jar name? So jar name is that MapReduce 0.1.3. So first of all, let us see what is that. Again, we'll copy that path name. So type in ls cd Hadoop cd MapReduce. Type in ls. The command is this one. Copy this. You can run the command directly from here. Jar name. The file name is called as Wordcount, and you have to specify the input folder. So the folder that I created, my input, and you have to specify an output folder. I'm just going to call it as my output. This folder I didn't create, but it can be seen. It can the Hadoop itself is going to create that folder for you. So let's see it's going to work or not. So there you go. It started our MapReduce program. Now you can see it has taken the job in, and you can see the progress of mapper and reducer code inside this particular program as well. So initially mapper is 0%, reducer is at 0%. Now mapper completed the job, that is why it is showing 100%, and now the reducer has completed the job and it has completed the job itself. Alright, now if I want to see the output of this, you can go to the home directory. We have created a folder that is my output. Inside that folder you will have the content. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the home directory. So here HDFS DFS -ls, you can list down all the files in the my output directory. So there'll be two files. One is success file, which is going to tell whether the project, whether the job has completely succeeded or not. The other one is this part file. So this is where exactly the output will be available for us. So let's do that. HDFS DFS and use the cat command to output slash. I'm just going to write part and put star because that's what the content of it. So now we can see the number of or we can say frequency of words that are available in that particular file. Mary has one, A has one, add a little lamp, one lamp, and it counted exactly whatever the output that we wanted to have. All right, so this is how you can run your MapReduce program. All right, so this is what here you can see that there's one query. So lamb comma, so I have put a comma associated with it. So Hadoop has taken in that as an input keyword with the dot. So that's why it is showing one, but it had two words, that is little hash two times occurred in that particular file. That is why it is showing that way. So this is how you can run your sample MapReduce program, which is the Wordcount program, which is already existing in the Hadoop installation directory. So in the next session, I'm going to demonstrate how to create your custom MapReduce program, and then how to convert that into a jar, your custom jar, and how to run that jar inside the Hadoop. Thank you.